This gaming interview is with Couriway. If you guys don't know him, he's also known as Anthony, and he is one of the best Minecraft players in the entire world. He has set out for his goal to beat the game, not just once, but 100,000 times. He's a former world record holder for the fastest speedrun of the game and is still a top placer in that category, and he has now beaten the game of Minecraft over 5,000 times, which means he is on pace to beat the game 100,000 times in like 30 years or so. One of my best and favorite interviews I've done in a long time, so we hope you guys all enjoy. Here is Couriway.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Couriway. I've been doing full-time content on and off for like 4 years. I've been making Minecraft content for like 11 years. I've been speedrunning for about a little over 4 years, like 4.5 years. And my career, quote unquote, kind of kicked off when I got world record as the RSG world record holder when Minecraft speedrunning was like really popular back in 2020. And then I kind of just used that as a slingshot on YouTube and streaming. And after getting a couple other good times, I decided I wanted to speedrun Minecraft as much as I possibly could and came up with the idea to do it 100,000 times.
And I was smiling this whole time. I was like holding back a laugh because we've been talking a little bit back and forth about Minecraft. And I just really wanted to like ask, so you really like Minecraft?
I love this game. So I have a very addictive personality. Like I do the same thing every day. I'm a very structured person. So like once I found Minecraft as a kid, I was like, okay, this is my game. Like I'm good. Like I don't need anything else. Like I very rarely play anything else besides Minecraft.
That is so interesting to me. So what was that first introduction? You said as a kid, but what exactly was that moment?
I got Minecraft in December of 2012. And it was like pretty late, honestly, for people getting into Minecraft. It was already like version like 1.4, like way past beta or anything like that. But I had a friend in in middle school that was like, you should check out this game called Minecraft. And I kind of thought they were like not the coolest person. So I was like, oh, it's Minecraft, like whatever. But then my friend who was cool also mentioned Minecraft. And I was like, wait, if they're mentioning it, then I got to try it out. And then I just got hooked. Like I just got hooked. I got like so into it, like just the survival aspect and mining. Like I have a vivid memory of like back in Pocket Edition, like I mined out like it was like a set world, like there was a set map. It wasn't infinite or anything, and I mined out the entire map because I was just like, why not? So I mined out like the entire like diamond level because I was like, I'm gonna get every diamond in this.
Okay, well, mining is one
of
the better parts about Minecraft, I will say. As
exactly.
A player.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, that was like I loved that, and like I got into like PvP and stuff in the game in like 2013, 2014ish probably, and that was like what I really enjoyed for a while. I was a really high ranked PvP player, and then but PvP was never like that popular, so I kind of I was at that point I was like 18, 19. I was starting like a career and stuff, and then Minecraft speedrunning like blew up, and I was like, well, I'm pretty good at Minecraft. Like I have a big background in it, and once I kind of learned everything, I picked it up quick, and I think I started speedrunning in late July of 2020, early August of 2020, and then I got world record in November of 2020. It was actually election day 2020 because I remember it like vividly. I voted, I came back, and I got world record, which is really funny. So that's how I remember the day.
So you keep mentioning this world record. Can you go into detail about exactly what this world record was?
Yeah. So it was in Minecraft version 1.16.1, which is like the version that everyone speedruns, not to get crazy technical, but that's like the version. Like every like there's always like a patch or something that's like the best for it. That's the patch for Minecraft. It's the best version by far. And my time was 14 minutes and 36 seconds, which at the time was obviously really fast. It was the world record, but it was like the world record now is 7 minutes and 1 second, and the meta is like basically kind of the same. The thing that's cool about my world record, and like I think the reason why it stood out a bit more than other people, is my world record was the first one to use a bastion, which is a structure in the nether that like has a bunch of gold to trade with piglins, which were added in 1.16, which is why it's such a good update for speedrunning and stuff. But like I had no idea what I was doing because it was the first one with it, and no one knew that they were even like really good yet. So it was kind of just a shot in the dark, and it just ended up working out. And then people were like, oh, this is a structure that we could use. And then it kind of shifted the meta. Not like I didn't do any technical work or anything. It was more, my run was more a proof of concept. And then really smart people were like, wait, this is cool. Let's build off of this and make it actually a strategy. And it was really
what I
cool.
like about our conversation so far is you don't mind just going into like full nerd mode about your game,
Yeah.
Because I watch a lot of content out there, especially more towards like RuneScape. And so I love when people dive into the very, very niche, like even down to a structure.
Yeah.
You can tell you're passionate about it,
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the thing that Minecraft speedrunning is like, especially now, like it's very formulaic, and there's so much like weird technical stuff that's like, I feel like someone who's casual about Minecraft like wouldn't understand. But if you like actually watch it and take a second to like see what's happening, like it's one of those things where like I don't know what's happening sometimes in like a game like League of Legends or something, but you can still tell when like something is cool. And Minecraft speedrunning definitely has that factor, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So, what is this current challenge that you are going for? You absolutely insane
Yeah.
human.
So the challenge is to beat Minecraft 100,000 times without ever resetting. And the kind of thought process for this, and the reason why I think it works as a content idea, is because the way that I like to speedrun Minecraft is it's called Random Seed Glitchless RSG. Random seed just means a random world that you load into, and for me, I have to play whatever I load. For people who are going like for world record or PB or whatever, they actually sit on like a wall of Minecraft, like 12, 15 instances of Minecraft, and are just resetting for like the perfect seed.
Okay.
And I like, my thought process in starting the challenge was, okay, well, I've already had world record, and then I ended up getting another top 3 time later on. And at that point, like the world record was considered like really, really hard to beat, like basically unbeatable. And I was like, I got top 3. It was like the 4th or 3rd time I was top 3. I was like, I have nothing left to prove. I want to try something more better for content, basically, than for my own personal like, a speedrunning achievement. I want to do something that's more content based than just sitting on a wall resetting. So I came up with the original 1000. That was really hard because I was way worse, and it was just a real rude awakening of like how hard this is going to be. And long story short, I got through that. It was awesome. 6 months of that. And then once I finished it, I was like, okay, well, now what do I do? And I started like doing resetting and like some other categories, and it just never really stuck with me. And I really felt like I had a good kind of niche and a good community with what I was doing with no reset. And it was something that other people didn't want to do. Like if people did that, like even people still do like no reset now and then, but then like if they die, they'll just be like, okay, well, I'm done for the day. Like, thanks for watching or whatever. But I can't do that. And I think like you have to have a real mental strength about it. And I think my position as being able to do this as a full-time content creator, I think makes it a lot easier, because like a tough day at work for me is just I died a lot in Minecraft, which is like not that big of a deal at all. So I kind of try to always have that perspective. And I think that's gotten me to where I am now, where I've finished. I think today I'm up to 5,341.
We're gonna get more into that, but before we do,
Yeah.
so like for the casuals like myself, how is a proper speed run of Minecraft done?
Yeah, so the main idea, obviously, so goal number 1, you want to beat the Ender Dragon. That's what's considered beating the game. And technically, the timer actually stops not when you kill the dragon, but when the credits start to roll. When the end portal's open, you go through the end portal. So that's like the final time. So originally, I called it like the quest to roll the credits or whatever. That sucked. So I just beat the game 100,000 times. So the way that it starts, obviously, you don't know what you're going to expect, but you're always going to spawn in the overworld. And my main goal at the start is always, I want to get somewhere in the range of 7 to 10 iron at least. 7 gets me an iron pickaxe for 3, a bucket for 3, and a flint and steel for 1. And that just guarantees that I'll be able to mine gold blocks with the iron pickaxe and the bastion, because you need at least iron for that. And I don't like relying on that in the bastion, because you can get iron in a bastion, but if I don't get iron, I'm just screwed because I can't reset. So I have to be fully prepared for something like that. Obviously, bucket to make the portal with obsidian and stuff, and then to light the portal, etc. But my goal is to do that. There's a lot of different ways. You can cave for iron. You can find a shipwreck for iron. You can get a golem for iron. So overworld is not that difficult. It can be kind of annoying if you spawn in like, the middle of like a jungle or something and you can't see out. And that can be annoying. But most of my overworlds are like 5 to 6 minutes. Really, it's rare it goes over 6 minutes. So overworld is pretty standard. Where the real like randomness and the resetting factor would come in is the nether. So there's 2 different structures that you need to go to. 99% of the time you're going to go to a bastion, and then you always have to go to a fortress. Bastion, you always want to try and go to first, because that has the gold, which you're going to trade with the piglins, which spawn in the bastion. And then when you give them the gold, you're going to get your ender pearls. You're also going to get a bunch of other useful stuff like obsidian to leave the nether. You're going to get string and other stuff to make beds to explode in the end, because you can't set your spawn in the end, so it just explodes the bed, and you can use that damage to kill the dragon. And then you can also get, I think I said fire resistance potions, which also helps with the blaze fight. So going to the Bastion first just gives you a bunch of stuff. Also, you get extra pearls to like move to the fortress faster, so it's great. Once you get to the fortress, all you got to do is kill blazes. Super easy. You're out. And then you're just leaving the nether. Usually you want to have enough obsidian, 20 obsidian to make 2 different nether portals. So you're just going to make one at the start where your like blaze spawner is or whatever. You're going to measure how far away the stronghold is using some quirky math and some charts and stuff. And then you're going to build a second portal closer to the stronghold. There are calculators for speedrunning that are allowed. I don't like playing with them. It feels a little bit like less fun to me. And when I'm trying to do something 100,000 times, I try and focus more on like less what's the fastest and more what feels more natural to me. So there's a couple things that I don't do that's like optimal like that, but I think it adds like a little bit more to content too. Like if I don't know if I'm going to hit the stronghold, and then if I do, it's like way more hype. If I'm like if I portal into the stronghold, it's really cool. Then once you're there, it's super easy. You just find the end portal. There's a bunch of cool ways to kill the dragon, but long story short, you can kill the dragon in like a minute, and then there you go. The nether is like the really hard part, because if you don't have something like really close to you, I mean, there's been runs where I go literally thousands of blocks for like my first structure. It can get really, really ugly. That's like the biggest variance point. But if you can get through the nether, the end game is usually pretty standard. The overworld is slightly less standard at the beginning, but pretty standard. And then the nether is just a free for all.
Got you. And I know you previously mentioned this as well, but you said, so you, is it confirmed you've beaten Minecraft more than anyone else in the world? At least.
Yeah, I mean, it's not technically confirmed, but I feel like there's just no way. And like I've done this like basically nonstop for like 3 years of my life. Like the person that I know, shout out Couriway, they have beaten Minecraft 2023 times. They beat Minecraft 2023 times in 2023, and that's what they decided to do, which was honestly incredibly impressive. And I think I barely beat that last year. I think I did like 2,100 or 2,200 runs last year. This year I'm on pace to do way more because now I'm like taking it more seriously. But like doing that many runs is really difficult. But yeah, I'm in my mind, like as far as I know, and I've done a lot of research on this, I'm like double anyone else already.
It's just so crazy because I told you before, I'm more of a RuneScape guy, but I do follow the Minecraft scene, and I watch just about anything that's viral. So your stuff has definitely popped up. And so it's just so interesting getting these conversations, because I don't know if I've ever spoken to someone like you who is so deep into a game. Like when you compare to a game like RuneScape, right, or any game out there, I don't know if I can name many things that I have done over 5,000 times that I am like a true master of, which I think you could argue that you are a true master of beating Minecraft. And so it's so interesting to hear you talk about a game, because you truly, as far as I'm concerned, you probably know just about every little piece that you're supposed to know about beating this game. It kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, I think well, first off, thank you. Second of all, like yes, I do know an absurd amount of the game. And I think a lot of what showcases, like, I'm not super up to date on like what's the best thing at like the highest level, because frankly, I'm not a great mechanical player. Like a lot of, even when I got world record and stuff, like my game is much more based on like my knowledge of the game and like split decision making and stuff like that, which also, you know, bodes really well for doing a challenge like this, because I can take it a little bit more slow mechanically, and it's much more of a mental challenge than like a physical one or in any way. So I think that's a great, you know, point that you bring up. And I think that really shows, like, there's a lot of times where I'll like make a decision and it just feels, it's hard to describe like it or give an example, but like sometimes like just clicks. Like I have like the itch, like I know this is the wrong thing, I'm going to do something else, and it pays off and it feels so good, because you know, like the reason that happens is because you've done it thousands of times before, and it's awesome.
It's interesting because there's not many people out there that have that, because like you got to choose a game, right, to master it at your level.
Exactly,
you got to choose a game. So it's very interesting to have these kind of conversations. I know you also mentioned it previously, but just for the record, your fastest time, or I think you said you rebeat it, so your fastest time ever beating Minecraft was what?
My fastest time beating Minecraft is 11 minutes and 15 seconds, and that was third place at the time when I got it. That was April of 2021. To give an idea of the last time I like took speedrunning on the leaderboard seriously. And then my fastest time without resetting is 12 minutes and 30 seconds, which I believe is like the fourth or fifth fastest, like no reset time ever.
It's just so insane. Cause like, again, as a guy, I just sit down, I'll start an island, whatever. and it's like I can spend
Yeah.
11 minutes just finding where I want to build my first spot. You
Yeah,
know?
like yeah,
Like that
yeah.
literally
It's like those stupid.
makes no
It's
sense.
like those YouTube comments. It's like oh they did this in 30 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm like mining cobblestone or whatever. Like I totally yeah. Like I totally get that.
Yeah, that's just it's so wild. So was it back in 2021 where you had finally beat the game 1,000 times? Is that correct?
Yes. So my original 1000 was July 2021 to December of 2021. And it was so hard. Like, so for reference, my average time for that 1,000 runs was about 31 minutes. And my average time, I think, in my last 1000 was like 24 minutes. And it's not like anything that I'm doing, like adding really a new strategy or anything. Like, sure, obviously stuff has been updated, but most of that is just having a better mentality and just like feeling better about the game, honestly, and just like feeling more comfortable. So like seeing that improvement, and I think it's like that's one of the things that I really like tracking is like the improvement and stuff. And it's really cool to see, especially when you scale out. Like even when I thought I was good, and even when I was like a top level player, like there was still so much in the game that people just didn't understand or recognize and whatever. And then when you start doing it, and and that's just going to keep happening. Obviously, it'll slow down, but I mean, I would not be surprised if at some point I have like a 1,000 run split that is like close to a sub 20 or like a 20 XX, something like that. Like it would not shock me in a couple years.
Dang. Okay. And again, just for reiteration, I know you had the exact number
Mhm.
over 5,000, but you've beaten the game over 5,000 times. How many times exactly, and how
Yes.
long has it taken thus far?
So I'll double check my spreadsheet, but I believe it is 5,341. It's loading. It is, yes, 5,341. That was today. I beat run 5,000 was February 2nd. My goal for the end of the year, just to give an idea of like kind of pace here, I hit 5,000 on February 2nd. My goal for the end of the year is to get around 8,000, which there's a couple things that have come up that will make that a little bit more difficult this upcoming month. I'm going away for 2 different trips, but that's besides the point. It'll make it a little bit more challenging, but I'll get there. And then the 100,000 is estimated completion date. If I do 75 runs a week, which is about roughly what I do, sometimes I do a little bit more than that, is 2049 is when I'm expected to complete
These,
that. So yeah, it's a lot. It's really hard to fathom, to be
yeah.
honest. It is like a big number.
I mean, if you ever one day actually achieve this, when you really nail it in the all-time list of gaming achievements, because I believe your goal is to beat the game 1,000 times, like every 3 to 4 months, and you want to
Yeah,
get
that's basically it.
so like to beat Minecraft 100,000 times. Why is that the goal?
Yeah. So I when I was like thinking about this, and I was like, okay, so at the time I wasn't even a full-time content creator, which is like more, I don't know what I was thinking doing that. But I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this. And I thought about doing 10,000, but the thing with 10,000 is I knew I could knock it out in a couple years. And I was like, I want it to be more of like a lifetime goal. And like any number past that, like 25,000, 50,000, it just doesn't sound as cool as 100,000. So I know it's like a really, really hard stretch. And honestly, like when I first set that number, I didn't even think of it as like I'm only gonna do no reset. Like I had planned like it's gonna be random. Like I'm gonna do other sessions where I just like complete runs, and it'll just like be I've beaten Minecraft 100,000 times total. But I've really like since doing that, like I've really locked in on doing it 100,000 times no reset, mainly because I think it's really fun to like track progress and progression. And when it's more of a filtered thing of I'm only doing this one thing, it's easier to track. And it's been really enjoyable. Like, I mean, obviously there's some days where it just sucks and it beats you down and whatever, like things just don't go your way. But again, like perspective, like I'm playing Minecraft for a living, and that's really cool. And I think that's something like I'll see comments all the time where it's just like, this is going to take you however long if you do it nonstop and whatever, whatever, whatever. It's like, dude, people work 9 to 5s for 30 years, like scraping away, doing something they hate just to make a living and get by. And that's just the world we live in. And if I'm lucky enough to do that for 30 years and my 9 to 5 is playing a game that I love, like that is so sick. Like that is so sick. So I'm just gonna that's the perspective I try and have with it, even on tough days, and it helps to really keep that.
Yeah, man,
going.
I'm having this realization now that I might not live to see the day where you complete this.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. Like
your run time could really slow down.
Yes, I've thought about that too. Like if anything happens, like I have a family history of like really poor eyesight. So if I get to like 40 and my eyesight just gets way worse, like I don't know what to expect. So like I take it now as like, okay, I'm 25. I can do this like all the time. Like I don't have a child. I don't have that many obligations. Like I can just crank out runs. So I'm trying to crank out as many as I can now because obviously I'm probably going to be able to do more at 25 than I could at 50. So it's all about just keeping pace and doing as much as I can. And I think the coolest thing, I mentioned this to you in DMs, but the coolest stat to me is that I have spent over 1% of my life doing this challenge, which is just like crazy to think about because that includes like, okay, so like 35% of that is sleeping. And then like since I was born, 1% of that is literally just in-game time of playing Minecraft in this challenge,
how
which
many
is
hours?
just kind of 96 days, 22 hours, 57 minutes. I don't know, 96 times 24 is 2,304. And so it's like 2,320 hours of purely in the game of this. And that's not counting the 10 to 20,000 hours that I've played of Minecraft to get good enough to do this.
The 96 days, is that I thought we said 20,000 plus hours?
20,000 plus hours of playing Minecraft total. 20,000 plus hours of playing Minecraft total.
Okay, gotcha.
Because like, yeah. In this challenge specifically, it's about 2,500.
Gotcha.
2,300, 2,500.
Yeah. I mean,
because that's like, I've seen people try and do this, and like you have to be so, you can't just like decide like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and you have to be like a top minimum like 100 speedrunner to even put a dent in this. Otherwise, like you will just die constantly, and it will just be suffering. Yeah. Like it will just be pure suffering. Like you have to have a certain like level to be able to do this. Otherwise, it's just going to be a disaster.
I can only imagine. I don't know if you know Hitch, Optic Hitch. Me and him go back and forth on. I'm a big RuneScape guy. He's a huge Minecraft guy. So we'll just
that's awesome.
Back and forth about like what's the better game for content, what's the better game for like a lifelong game. So my question to you: why is Minecraft the best game?
I think to me, it's just there's so many different things you can do in this game. Like I think I'm the perfect example of that. When I started playing Minecraft, like it was to play survival, and then I got a little older in high school. It was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do like PvP and combat and stuff like that. And then I got older again, and it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to go back to survival, but now I have a much better understanding of the game. And, now then I got into speedrunning 4 years ago. Like that's not even including multiplayer servers or mods. And there's just so many different avenues of Minecraft that just allow you to be creative, allow you to express yourself in some way that caters to not only what you're good at, but what you enjoy. And I think that's the thing that I love so much about speedrunning, that it combines the, like, because I truly love this game. Like, there will be so many moments, like, that I see something that is just absolutely absurd, and it's like, oh my, like, I'll stop the speedrun and enjoy that. Like, I've done runs where I've name tagged a parrot upside down because I got a name tag and I got enough iron, and I was like, well, I'm in a jungle, I'm going to name tag a parrot and slow it down, because there's just, you don't get to do those things, and being able to do it while also beating the game in like 25 minutes is really cool to me. And that's just comes from the years, the decade plus of experience that you have in this game. And I think there's not a lot of games that allow you to express that as much as something like Minecraft. And I think that skill expression is really cool.
Boom. That's all I have for you, man. We're going to end it there. That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Those were great answers. I love when these interviews get lengthy. So that was awesome.